We still do 7 NUFC Matters show a week for free. But if you want to help support NUFC Matters, then there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast and video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications bell so you don't miss a single show. If you want to help us financially, then you can join the channel using this button with the membership starting at $1.99 a month. Or you can drop us a donation in the chat using a super sticker. We're also looking for sponsors. If you'd like your brand advertised on the flyers for the show and featured during the ad break, then email John at nufcmatters.com to arrange today.
Talking to myself again, but it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you if I don't say the words that make.
Good morning, welcome to NUFC Matters with me, Steve Wraith, and delighted to say that I'm joined by George again, and we are going to do those were the days. George, where are you taking us this morning?
Well, it's a monumental season in many ways. 95, 96. In my time supporting Newcastle, there's been times so many heartbreaks, but I've got to say this season was one of the big ones. And for reasons as you'll learn as we go through. But 95, 96, a big season for us. And when the entertainers were starting to make their name, really, or had already made their name, but it was there. Other things, like I usually start off with music, Waterfalls, TLC, Creep, TLC, two in the top 10 they had. Kiss from a Rose, Seal, On Bended Knee, Boys to Men, Another Night, Real McCoy, Fantasy, Mariah Carey, Take a Bow, Madonna. So I had quite a list of music there. And if you go at the pictures, the cinema, the top movies were Heat, Casino, and Braveheart back in the news at the minute. Some Scottish politicians saying Braveheart was to blame for the rise of the Scottish National Party. I don't think that can be quite right, but these politicians say out these days, but never mind. That's what his take on it was. Right, into the football. As usual, Newcastle, lots of friendlies at the beginning of the season. There's the squad. And what a good squad it was. Some real footballers in there, in every sense of the word, and some great guys as well. That was a great squad. We played a friendly at Hartlepool, but it was actually a benefit for ex-player George Luke, his family, and unusually the site that I get a lot of information off is actually got it recorded here. And what a team it was. It was Hartlepool 11 from 1991, and some great names. Rob McKinnon, who played for us, John McPhail, who played for the Mackens, Brian Honor that played for Middlesbrough, and Don Hutchison, who was a deadly enemy of ours when he played for the Mackens. Paul Baker, and centre forward, none other than Joe Allen, of course, who had associations with Hartlepool. But an interesting one that they bothered to record all of it. And well, we had Harper and Peter Keane, Mark Hottiger, Steve Howie, Darren Peacock, Robbie Elliott, Ricky Appleby, Warren Barton, Scott Sellers, Les Ferdinand, Paul Kitson, Paul Brayson, Matty Appleby, Sean Elliott, Peter Beardsley. They all turned out. So it was a fascinating game, which we won 4-0, but the score was trivial. It was the cause it was done for. We then had another friendly at Rushden Diamonds. Now, Rushden Diamonds, I think, actually produced a programme for this, and it was a friendly, but it was a means of Newcastle helping them financially. They were in dire straits, so we've always had long associations with Rushden and Diamonds, and helped them out in other ways. Well, that was us helping them again financially, and we beat them 3-1 with. And we sent a full team. I mean, Ferdinand and Brayson were the goal scorers. Ferdinand got 2. So, and then we came back to St James's and had a friendly against Celtic. I mean, these are high-profile friendlies, and this site's recorded most of them actually, and they're just amazing that they do that. It was actually, I said it was St James's. It wasn't. It was at Celtic Park, and even for this game, the Celtic fans, 35,000 turn out for this game, and our Celtic side was a mix of ex players and players now, and of course Gordon Marshall was in goal then. It was our ex goalkeeper, and Tony Mowbray was playing, the Middlesbrough ex Middlesbrough, well, it's current Sunderland manager, and it was a good 1-1 draw anyway. Good warm up for the team, and got us off to a bit of a start. Give us a good game anyway. Get things going, and then we have a friendly against Gateshead, which we win 4-0. And then a friendly against Hearts, which we win 1-0. Then one of the most surprising friendlies at the beginning of the season was against Tottenham. And I thought, my goodness, and there's the reason why. Gary Mabbott was having his testimonial, and he asked Newcastle United to come and be the opponents in his testimonial game, which is quite a compliment from a lad from London born, London all his life, to ask the Magpies to go down. But it just reflected on the status of the Newcastle team, the regard that people had for the team, and the way they were playing at that time. The Entertainers was everybody's second favourite, I think, team at the time. I think this is the year when we sold more black and white stripes shirts in Glasgow than either Rangers or Celtic. There were more people wearing black and white than there were wearing green and white or blue. Incredible statistic. And Freddie Fletcher was to thank for that, actually. No doubt about that. And then into the season, into the league season. And lo and behold, our first game, Coventry. Coventry City at home, and they're not regarded as a threat to us, but we certainly should be starting the season with a win, and that's exactly what we do. 3-0 to Newcastle, entertaining game. 36,000 at the game for Coventry, which is quite a statement. The first half fairly quiet, but Rob Lee on 7 minutes gives with the lead, and we go in 1-0 at half time. After half time, it's kind of quiet again, and everybody's thinking, well, 1-0 will do, but on 82nd minute, Peter Beardsley scores a penalty with Ferdinand being brought down in the area. And then Ferdinand himself, on just a minute later, 83 minutes, makes it 3-0. We end up with a good victory, 3-0 victory, and it's been a good game. Coventry played some good football. Our team, well, Shaka Heslop, Warren Barton, John Beresford, Steve Howie, Darren Peacock, Lee Clark, Keith Gillespie, Robert Lee, Les Ferdinand and Peter Beardsley, with Ginola out wide on the left and Rule Fox as a substitute. A good entertaining game and a good start of the season, 3-0 start of the season. We're away next to Bolton Wanderers. Again, a team that we should be beating if we're going to be serious about this league. And Keegan sends an unchanged team. And Shaka Hislop's still in goal. Well, the team as was, I say, unchanged. And 21,000 at Burnden Park, the old Bolton ground. And Bolton with some good names in the side, people who are well regarded in the Premiership, and one player, of course, was ours, Alan Thompson. He was in the Bolton side, and Owen Coyle centre forward, Jason McAteer from Liverpool, Alan Stubbs from Everton, Chris Fairclough from Liverpool. So quite a tidy side at Bolton, but still shouldn't be troubling us. And they didn't. We went in 1-0 at half time thanks to a Les Ferdinand goal on 17 minutes. 54, Bergerson, the Bolton Icelander, equalise. And then on 77 minutes, Rob Lee puts us back in the lead. And on 84 minutes, Les Ferdinand settles the issue to make it 3-1. So another good victory. And we're sitting pretty in the league now. It's we're already sitting at the top. Sheffield Wednesday, but the next we go away to Sheffield, and Keegan loyal to his east side. Shaka Hislop still Warren Barton, Beresford, Steve Howie. It's a team people know. Peacock, Lee Clark, Gillespie, Lee, Ferdinand, Beardsley, and David Shinola. And 25,000 at Hillsborough for this game. And Sheffield Wednesday, as I said, decent side, but not a side. If we're serious about this league, they're not a side that should be beating us. And it's a tough game. First half is end-to-end stuff, but nobody can put the ball in the net. And then on 53 minutes, just 10 minutes after half time, more or less, David Ginola scores a brilliant goal, a drive from at least 30 yards, a volley, nice volley. Then on 75 minutes, Peter Beardsley makes it 2-0, and we go home with a nice 2-0, safe 2-0 win. The Sheffield Wednesday team, full of names of people in the Premiership would know. Kevin Pressman, a character in goal. Des Walker, Dan Prochescu, Ian Nolan, Mark Pembridge, John Sheridan, a very, very decent midfielder, and David Hurst, the big centre forward, dangerous centre forward, and Mark Bright, another dangerous attacking player, but not dangerous to us. Nice 2-0 win, keeps us top of the league, and we come home then to what I call it, the derby, but with Middlesbrough, the Tees derby. And we send out the same team, No changes, absolutely as was. 37,000 in St James's for this one, which is great. We looking to continue this winning run to keep the top of the league, we're sort of starting to open a gap even now this early in the season. Middlesbrough, well, lots of names people remember: Neil Cox, Chris Morris, Nigel Pearson, of course, who for a while was our manager, Steve Vickers, Derek White is Scott's centre half for Middlesbrough, who's a good friend of my son's, of Geordie Dentist. He runs a soccer school in Dubai, and he's a patient of my son, so Neil's got to know him well. Robbie Musto, who's always a pain in the side for us. Nick Barnby, really dangerous player. And Jamie Pollock. And a little fella on the left side called Craig Hignett, who scored goals for free when he was playing. Remarkable little man. Quite a small guy. Anyway, we have a tough first half, going 0-0. And it looks like it might end up 0-0, but as usual, it takes a bit of sparkle from the entertainers, and the sparkle came from Les Ferdinand from a corner on the penalty spot, almost unmarked, and that means trouble for the opposition, and it did. 1-0 Newcastle, and that's how it ended. We get a 1-0 win against Middlesbrough. So we're now away to Southampton. Bit of a bogey team about this time of the decade. We seem to struggle against Southampton, and sometimes look as though we're going to win, and then some magic from Letizia or somebody like that will send us the wrong way. We send the same unchanged team with as Keegan often did. We had a couple of injuries during the game, and Roel Fox and Paul Kitson came on for Keith Gillespie and Lee Clark. Good game, which we were well in, 0-0 at half time, but unfortunately went to sleep at a corner, and Jim Magilton, the Southampton defender, nipped in at a corner and made it 1-0 to Southampton. We really had a go then. It was backs to the wall for Southampton, and of course they were managed at that time by Laurie McNamee, and the goalkeeper was David Besson, who was our goalkeeper, and of course the dangerous player was Matt Letizia, and Neil Shipperley, the centre forward. Only 16,000 at the Dell, but at the Dell in those days that would have been a big crowd. Anyway, it stayed 1-0 at the end, so we lose 1-0, but we still maintain our place at the top of the league. Next, we're at home to Manchester City. 37,000 at the game. Interestingly, though, all the discussions about referees, where they live and all the rest of it, this match against Manchester City was refereed by Jeff Winter, who's from Stockton. Now, I think if somebody from Stockton refereed a match in the current Premiership, there would be
hell on.
There would be absolute hell on, and yet it was taken as all part of the scheme of things in those days. As I say, 37,000 at this game, and a good game. Good. Always have good games against Manchester City, and it's not long before Beardsley's got one in the back of the net from a penalty area, having been upended himself, and so we go in the lead. Ferdinand adds one just before the break, so we go in 2-0 up, and it looks comfortable. 2 minutes, 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 2-0 up, and it looks comfor 59 minutes, Ferdinand makes it 3-0. And then in 81 minutes, Gerard Creasy, Manchester City, makes it 3-1. But they're not really in it. It's our game, and we're going to get a good win. The Manchester City, managed by Alan Ball at the minute, the ex-World Cup player, and a team of all-stars, Brightwell, Keith Curle, Terry Phelan. Probably know Terry Phelan more because of his coaching jobs with Manchester United and others. Peter Beagry, Flitcroft, and Uwe Rossler, the German centre forward, dangerous little centre forward. But anyway, 3-1 win, fixed firmly at the top of the league, and looking to add to it because we're playing very well and everybody's enjoying what's happening. First, next game is a Coca-Cola Cup with Bristol City, away at Bristol City, and everybody's hoping we might get a run in this cup. We this is the first leg, and at Ashton Gate, 16,000 there, and Keegan takes all these things very seriously and wouldn't dream of sending a weakened team, so he sends the best team with Shaka Hislop in goal, substituted halfway through by Pavel. Warren Barton at right back, but substituted halfway through by Steve Watson, both because of injuries. And this was when we had 3 substitutes. Keith Gillespie was injured just before the end, and Mark Hottiger came on. Good, entertaining stuff. We get off to a flyer. Darren Peacock at a corner scores on 8 minutes. Scott Sellers on 22 with a free kick. And then 30 minutes, Les Ferdinand with a nice header. So we'll go in 3-0 at half-time. Then straight after half-time, Keith Gillespie, straight from the kick-off, makes it 4-0. And Rob Lee on 85 settles it, and we go and up 5-0. Entertaining game, but obviously a one that Bristol didn't enjoy because we really were on form that day. Bristol side got 1 or 2 ex-former stars. David Seal, Junior Bent, dangerous winger. Paul Agostino, Martin Kroll, Robert Edwards, all people who had prominent careers in football, but not enough to worry us that day. 5-0 was the score. That's, we can certainly hope that's our next round booked, as it were. Then we're home in the league to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea are a dangerous side and really been touted as possible champions. They haven't shown it so far this season, but never mind. They're still going to be difficult to overcome. The side which, of all stars, they as I say, they're being touted in certain pundits. I definitely got them in the league. Keegan sends out an unchanged team. Shaka's fit, even though he was injured. Warren Barton's back, even though he was injured. And 37,000 at the game. An entertaining game. I remember being at this one. Was one of the ones when I was able to go. And 41 minutes, Ferdinand header makes it 1-0 at half time. And end-to-end stuff. Chelsea's playing well, could easily have scored, but didn't. And on 57 minutes, another Ferdinand header, and we go in. We get a 2-0 victory. Chelsea team, Dimitri Karani in goal. Steve Clark, who's current Scotland manager. Frank Sinclair, Scott Minto, Rudd Hullett is a name we know. Gavin Peacock, Nigel Spackman, Dennis Wise, a name we know. Leslie Hughes and Mark Steen, a dangerous centre forward. Paul Furlong was the substitute, another dangerous player. And not dangerous enough for Newcastle on that day. 2-0 to Newcastle. Both Ferdinand goals, 41 minutes, 57 minutes. And Chelsea never looked like coming back into it. So keeps you nice and firmly set at the top of the league. We're now away to Everton. Tough game, tough place to go. And people, a little bit nervous about what we're going to face when we go to Everton. Everton, a team that had been pushing for the top for a couple of years. And 24,000 at Goodison Park. And Keegan sends an unchanged team, which he was happy to do as often as he possibly could. One injury during the game, Keith Gillespie gets injured and Steve Watson comes on. And then just before the end, David Ginola gets injured and Paul Kitson comes on. Good, entertaining game, end-to-end stuff. Les Ferdinand on 20 minutes scores with a close-in shot from a rebound off a corner. And then after half-time, Rob Lee steps up and takes a penalty on 59 minutes, makes it 2. And Paul Kitson, having come on as a sub, scores a neat goal to make it 3. Then on 81 minutes, that's Ginola. 81 minutes, Andy Limpar scores for Everton. And for a little while, for about 5 minutes, Everton have a go and its backs to the wall for Newcastle. But it was never a real threat. It didn't come to anything. So we ended up with a 3-1 victory, which was much appreciated by everybody, I think. We now go home for the second leg of the Coca-Cola Cup against Bristol City. It should be a formality, and it looks like it might be the way they're playing, but unfortunately, Paul Agostino, their dangerous forward, on 14 minutes makes it 1-0 to Bristol, and there were 2 white knuckles in the Gallagher corner. Then after half time, an unusual goal because it's scored by Warren Barton, but a good goal, gets the equaliser. Then the Prince, Philip Albers, on the side this time makes it 2, and Les Ferdinand on 5 minutes later makes it 3. So we get a 3-1 win and an 8-1 on aggregate. So nicely through to the next round of the Coca-Cola Cup with lots to spare, but people still looking over their shoulders, thinking, well, can we actually make it through this to the next round? Because it's not our favourite trophy, as people will well know. It's interesting how the crowds vary as well with the cups. It's not, you can tell by the crowds that it's not the best regarded cup. Anyway, we're away now to QPR in the Premiership. Always a good football inside QPR. Their manager, of course, is Ray Wilkins, the England ex-Chelsea midfielder. Really good player. Turned out to be quite a good coach as well. And 1 or 2 stars and former stars in QPR side, Rufus Breville, Simon Barker, Ian Holloway, who made quite a name for himself as a manager when he finished playing, Andrew Impey, Simon Osborne, Danny Diccio, and Trevor Sinclair. Trevor Sinclair, very, very dangerous winger. 19,000 at the game. First goal is QPR on 43 minutes. Danny Dicchio scores it. We equalise on 48. 68 and they go back in the lead. And then on 72, Keith Gillespie scores another one. That's 2-2. And then 5 minutes later, Les Ferdinand makes it 3-2 against his old side. And we come away with a nice 3-2 victory, which keeps us firmly fixed at the top of the league. And lots of smiles on faces with that one. We come home to a home match against Wimbledon. And we know everything about Wimbledon's going to be hard. Except at this occasion, not quite so hard, because we score very early. 30 minutes. Steve Howie gets a header in, and then 35 minutes, Les Ferdinand scores, and 41 Ferdinand scores, so it's 3-0 at half time. And after half time, we just go berserk, and Wimbledon get a one back through Marcus Gale from a corner, but Les Ferdinand completes his hat trick on 63 minutes, Lee Clark on 59, and Philip Albert on 84 makes it 6-1 to Newcastle, which is against Wimbledon is quite a score, because they don't give goals away normally like that. And in their team, well, Kenny Cunningham, Brian McAllister, Fitzgerald, Chris Perry, Marcus Gale, Robbie Earle, Vinnie Jones, Mick Hartford, who we know well, and Deal Holdsworth. It was their best team, but they didn't play their best football that day. Manager, Joe Kinnear. No, enough said as far as I'm concerned. Joe Kinnear. We, as I say, 6-1 win, fantastic. Cemented the top spot nicely. Next is the next round of the Coca-Cola Cup, and we're off to Stoke. Stoke at a tidy side in the Championship. They're not going to be easy to beat them at the Victoria ground. And Lou Macari's their manager. Ex-Manchester United player and Scotland international. Mark Prudder in goal, who comes from just down the way. Graham Potter is a name when the play known these days, playing wide on the right for them. Kevin Keane, Paul Prosciutto, and Martin Carruthers. A tidy side, but tidy or not, Newcastle are on form. Beardsley on 30 minutes, Beardsley on 39 minutes, Ferdinand on 53, and Darren Peacock on 73. Strolled out as 4-0 winners, never looked like losing it. So that's a good start for the first leg of the cup. Then we're away to Tottenham in the league. It's not going to be easy. Tottenham, one of the teams that's touted as challenging for the title, and full of stars. The Keegan sends an unchanged side to White Hart Lane, and 33,000 in White Hart Lane for this game, and from what I gather, from what I've read, an entertaining game which went end to end, and Chris Armstrong puts Tottenham in the lead in 21 minutes, and looks like how it might end, but a young man by the name of David Ginola has something to say about that, and he carves the Spurs defence in two and just slots in a nice bottom corner drive to make it 1-1 on 47 minutes. A very entertaining game. And if there was a start at all, it was Ginola. It was his game. Tottenham players, well, Walker in goal, Barry Austin, Sol Campbell, Gary Mabbott, Jason Dozzell, Rule Fox now, he's transferred allegiances down there, Chris Armstrong, Teddy Sheringham, and Ronnie Rosenthal, Israeli international player. A good game, but a decent 1-1 draw for Newcastle, which keeps with nicely fixed at first place in the Premier League. And home to Liverpool next. Again, a game that's going to be tough. 37,000 in the ground. Liverpool with their all-stars: David James, Rob Jones, Mark Wright, Phil Babb, John Scales, Steve McManaman, Jamie Redknapp, Ian Rush, John Barnes, and Robbie Fowler. And Stan Collymore comes on in 75 minutes as a substitute. A real team to beat, and one which they'll take some watching. 3 minutes, Les Ferdinand makes it 1-0. 11 minutes, Ian Rush makes it 1-1. That's how it stays till half time. And it looked like that's how it would end. And then just with the last kick of the ball, who should settle it but none other than Stevie Watson from a corner. And it's bobbing around until it reaches Steve, and he wallops it in the bottom corner. And we beat Liverpool 2-1. Now, any victory over Liverpool's important, but this particular season, very important, because we're first at the minute, and they're vying for second with Manchester United. So to beat them is quite something. Next match is a home match against Blackburn Rovers. Talented side who's still have Premiership ambitions, but they're not necessarily being fulfilled as the way they are. And 37,000. We seem to, our average gate around that time was around 37,000 plus or minus a few hundred. And Keegan's got Steve Watson in the side because of injury. Otherwise, it's the same team that's playing every week. A bit dour, this one, is my memory. It's St James's. Neither want to make a mistake, I think, is the top and bottom of it. But on 13 minutes, Rob Lee wallops one in from the edge of the box, makes it 1-0, and that's how it stays. And Blackburn, well, they're a team of all-stars. Tim Flowers, who was Ray Harford's their manager at Blackburn now. Tim Flowers, Hennenberg, Jeff McKenna, Colin Henry, the big blonde centre-half, Graham Lasso. A certain David Batty was in their midfield. Billy McKinley, Tim Sherwood, Mike Newell, and a certain Alan Shearer. Chris Sutton and Paul Warhurst were the substitutes. So names that people know now because of the television. But a 1-0 win, and the important thing for everybody in the Gallagher corner was that it kept in top place. Away to Aston Villa next. Villa a tidy side, but not regarded as challengers for the title in the way we are. Keegan sends out his usual side with substitutes, the only place where there's any changes. Lee Clark and Philip Albert are substitutes. 40,000 at Villa Park for this game. And again, a team that we always seem to have good games against. First half's going good to watch, but only one chance, and it falls to Tommy Johnson of Villa, and he makes it 1-0 till half time. Second half's the same, and then 59 minutes, and Les Ferdinand header makes it 1-1, and that's how it ends up 1-1. But an entertaining 1-1, and interesting names in the Villa team. Mark Bosnich, the well-known goalkeeper, Gary Charles, Ugo Egineu, the centre-back, and a certain other centre-back called Gareth Southgate, would you believe? Paul McGrath at the back, Alan Wright, Mark Draper, Ian Taylor, Tommy Johnson, and Dwight York in the attack. So a decent Villa side, but a 1-1 draw is all we get, but it keeps us where we want to be at the top of the league. They're then home to Leeds United, and every game with Leeds is a tough one, and so is this one. We playing very well, but unfortunately Brian Deane, the big dangerous centre forward of Leeds, is let loose and manages to score in 30 minutes and send them in at 1-0 up at half time. Second half, it's a Beardsley show. He takes over and runs Leeds ragged, lays one on for Rob Lee in 70 minutes, and then walks one in himself on 72 minutes. And we run out 2-1 winners. Leeds team, well, John Lukacs in goal, Gary Kelly, Richard Jobson, Dave Weatherall, Gary Speed, Tony DeRigo, Mark Ford, Gary McAllister, Carlton Palmer, Tony Yeboah, and Brian Deane. A very tidy Leeds side and a good victory against Leeds 2-1. We're now back for the fourth round of the League Cup, and it's against Liverpool, and we're at Liverpool. Now, I think even the hottest of Newcastle supporters would be thinking, well, is this the end of our cup run? Well, Keegan sends the usual team: Hislop, Barton, Beresford, Howie, Peacock, Clark, Gillespie, Lee, Ferdinand, Steve Watson because of injury, Peter Beardsley, and David Shinola. And so we go to Anfield, and there's 41,000 in Anfield for this game. And Roy Evans is the manager. James, Jones, Wright, Barb, Ruddick, McManaman, McTeer, Collymore, Barnes, and Robbie Fowler. And end-to-end stuff. 0-0 at half time. The only thing they couldn't do was score. And it looks like that's how it's going to stay. Then on 77 minutes, there's a bit of a fluke, and the ball drops to Steve Watson, who runs through the Liverpool defence and takes the game 1-0. So the run in the League Cup's now established, and there's a shot from Liverpool. It's a good game, a good win, and everybody was happy about that. So we then go away to Wimbledon in the league, and having beaten them well and truly at home, we think we'll do the same there. Well, no, when we go this time, the real Wimbledon's there, and although we go in the lead through Ferdinand in 8 minutes, Dean Holdsworth equalises on 19. Ferdinand 29 makes it 2-1. Ekiu equalises a minute later, and then Keith Gillespie makes it 3-2 at half time. And then Dean Holdsworth, who'd scored the first goal, scores the equaliser on 65 minutes. So we come out 3-3 with a decent hard-fought game, but we never give up. It was always a game we were in, and that we got a hard-fought draw was enough to keep us top of the league. We're now away to Chelsea, They're still playing quite well. 32,000 at Stamford Bridge. Careen in goal. Michael Dewberry rather at the back. Dan Petrescu, Terry Phelan, Eddie Newton, Dennis Wise, Paul Furlong. Mark Hughes has gone to Chelsea now. John Spencer. A tidy Chelsea side. It's a good game, end-to-end stuff, but the one chance at goal in the first half falls to Dan Petrescu, who makes it 1-0 for Chelsea, and that's how they go in at half-time. Second half's end-to-end, but woodwork rattled several times by both teams, but there's no sign of another goal. So Chelsea run out 1-0 winners, which is tough, but it doesn't dent our position as top of the league. The next game is at home to Everton, and the one we want to win, but we want to win them all if we're going to do anything in this league. Everton, 36,500 at the game, with Keegan fielding an unchanged side. Halfway through the first half, Keith Gillespie gets injured, and Keegan sends on Philip Albert off the bench. He doesn't send another winger on. He sends Philip Albert on and shuffles others around to accommodate that. And interesting choice, as it turned out, a good choice. 17 minutes, Les Ferdinand header from a corner, and we're 1-0 in the lead. Stays that way till half time. Afterwards, well, end-to-end stuff, but nobody looked like scoring, so we ended up with a neat and very handy 1-0 victory against Everton. So then we're home the next week at to Forest, Nottingham Forest. Side we always have good games against, and with stars in the team and on the bench, of course, with Nottingham Forest. 36,500 again. Same team, Chernacek, Barton, Albert stays in because of injury. Howie, Peacock, Clark, Gillespie, Lee, Ferdinand, Beardsley, and Ginola. And a good game. And 12 minutes, Rob Lee scores, from the edge of the box. 14 minutes, Ian Warren, who is a pain for us when he plays for Nottingham Forest. Dangerous left-sided striker, always scoring fantastic goals against us. And he did this one, a real drive. So that was 1-1 at half-time, 1-1 rather. And then 25 minutes, David Ginola scores an individual goal. So we go in 2-1 at half-time. And then 74 minutes, Rob Lee, from a free kick, makes it 3-1. So we beat Nottingham Forest 3-1, cement our first place at the top of the Premiership again. Some stars in Forest team, Stuart Pearce, Colin Cooper, Chris Bart-Williams, Steve Stone, who we know, Ian Warren, Kevin Campbell, ex-Everton guy, and Jason Lee. A tidy Forest side, which we beat and never looked like losing to. So that was a good victory for Newcastle. And now we're away to Manchester United. They're now breathing down my necks at the top of the league, and so it's going to be well, it's always a tough game anyway, but it's going to be particularly tough. 43,000 at Old Trafford, same team, Cernacek, Barton, etc. Only differences on substitutes. He's got Kitson and Watson as substitutes this time. And it's a good game, but we don't seem to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. Very, very frustrating. And on 5 minutes, certain Andy Cole opens the scoring. And it looks like it's going to stay that way right through. But at 53 minutes in the second half, Roy Keane pops up with a blinder of a goal to make it 2-0. So we lose to our nearest rivals 2-0. Manchester United team, well, a team of all-stars. Schmeichel, Gary Neville, David May, Dennis Irwin, Phil Neville, David Beckham, Nicky Butt, Ryan Gibbs, Roy Keane, Eric, Daniel, Pierre Cantona, and Andy Cole. Quite a side of all-stars. But if we're going to win the Premiership, we've got to be doing better than that against them. However, such is life. We then come home to a game against Arsenal, which is another game we want to win, should win, but Arsenal never going to roll over. Unchanged team for us. Substitutes Watson and Clark again. 37,000 at the game. And end-to-end stuff from the kickoff. And from the kickoff indeed, because on the first minute, David Ginola, first time he gets the ball, just saunters through the Arsenal defence and makes it 1-0. And that's how it stayed till half-time. Both teams could have scored but didn't. Come out after half-time, and then just to repeat the dose, 1 minute after the kickoff, Ferdinand scores number 2 with a drive from about the penalty spot, and that's 2-0. Tries the mate Arsenal tried to get into this game, but they couldn't do it. We end up 2-0 winners with the Arsenal team: Seaman, Dixon, Winterburn, Martin Keown, who we see a lot on the telly now, Steve Bull, Tony Adams, David Platt, Ian Wright, Paul Merson, Dennis Bergkamp, and Ray Parler. All names that are still around now as pundits and were then. So we end up with a 2-0 win against Arsenal and a very decent fix in the first place in the Premiership. As I say, with Manchester United bleeding down our necks. FA Cup third round at Stamford Bridge, away to Chelsea. Never going to be easy going to Chelsea at any time, but an away match in the Cup going to be quite tough. However, it's end-to-end. Mark Hughes, who's playing with them now, 35 minutes makes it 1-0, and that's how it is at half-time. And it stays that way, and it looks like we're going to go out the Cup on a 1-0 loss. And then there's Ferdinand with absolutely the last touch of the ball, heads in at the near post for an equaliser. And even on these records, this is 90 plus 3 minutes. So it was well and truly in the injury time. We get a 1-1 draw. So that means a replay. Excuse me. That means a replay. And I think people are just glad that we're still in the Cup, to be honest. And looking forward to making progress. We're now away to Arsenal in the League Cup. It's fifth round. So win this one, and we're into the heady rounds of quarterfinals and so on. So anyway, we go and we looking for a win. Highbury 38,000 in the ground, and Arsenal with their all-stars as usual in the team. We with our unchanged team. But from the off, we're not unsung. Arsenal are taking the game from us, and 44 minutes, Ian Wright makes it 1-0. And that's how it stays, obviously, till half-time, because that's almost the last kick. And that second half, end-to-end stuff, Newcastle really give it a go, but can't put the ball in the net. And Ian Wright again, with almost the last kick of the second half on 90 minutes, makes it 2-0. So Arsenal take us out of the League Cup with a 2-0 victory. Everybody's sad, but those I remember in the Gallagher corner who were saying, well, means we can concentrate on the league now, because that's where we're doing well. So the next game's away at Coventry City, and they're a tidy football side, and winning there won't be easy. Big crowd for Highfield Road, 37,000, and end-to-end stuff. Good attacking football from both sides. And in 44 minutes, just before half-time, Steve Watson scores a goal from a corner, and that's how it is at half-time. Second half, end-to-end, hit the woodwork, both teams, but nobody looked like scoring. So we end up with a 1-0 victory against the Coventry side, which includes Steve Agrizovic, the goalkeeper, Richard Shaw, Paul Williams, Dion Dublin is a name we know, Kevin Richardson is someone we know, John Salico, and Noel Whelan, dangerous attacking player. So 1-0 win against that Coventry side, which was playing well, was good away from home, and settled us down nicely in first place in the Premiership. And we've been first place nearly all season, which is amazing, with Liverpool and Manchester United fighting it out for second place. Come home to Chelsea for a FA Cup replay. We in for this one. Keegan, obviously it's unchanged team and everybody's up for this one. And it looks like it's our day, because on 42 minutes, Philip Albert scores one of his rare goals to send win at 1-0 at half time. And then just on the hour, Dennis Wise, of all people, equalises from a penalty. And 64 minutes, Peter Beardsley makes it 2-1 with a penalty of our own. And it looks like that's going to be it. We'll run out 2-1 winners. Well, we don't, because a certain Rod Hullett runs through the defence and makes it 2-1 with almost the last kick of the game. So we go into extra time. No goals in extra time. So this is one of the first penalty shootouts I think I've seen. And unfortunately for us, it was one of the first ones I've seen lost as well, as we lost 4-2 on the penalties, and that was the end of the cup run. I think as a means of consoling themselves, there were lots of murmurs in the Gallagher corner about concentrating on the league again. So we're now at home to Bolton in the league. Bolton a tidy side, but a one we should beat. Entertaining game. Paul Kitson's in the side, and he scores on 9 minutes. Beardsley on 37 makes it 2. And Bogson, the Danish player for Bolton, makes it 2-1 at half time. And it's an entertaining game, but nobody looks like scoring anymore. 35,000 at the game. And the names in the Bolton side, which are worth mentioning: Alan Stubbs, Scott Sellers, of course, Nathan Blake, David Lee, John McGurley, all players of reputation. But we run out 2-1 winners against Bolton, and we're still sitting nicely and starting to open a bit of a gap at the top of the league with that 2-1 win. So next we're at home to Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield's tidy side with 37,000 in the ground at St James's, and the Sheffield have brought a winger called Chris Waddle, would you believe, into their side. He's just been bought and starting to make his name for himself in yet another club. Mark Brighton, David Hurst in the middle, and Guy Whittingham, who they've just bought as well. A tidy attacking side, but not making any headway against our defence. And takes 54 minutes for Les Ferdinand to score, and what a score with a drive. And then Lee Clark on 90 closes it down 2-0 with almost the last kick of the game, and helps to cement our place as first in the Premiership. We're now await for the return derby match at Middlesbrough. Tough game. Always derby games are never easy, but we go to Ayson Park, and it's a tidy end-to-end game, but we're struggling to get it in the net, and then lo and behold, John Beresford gets in the way of a shot from Jamie Pollock, and it's 1-0 to Borough with an own goal. Looks like it might stay like that, but no, they give it a real go, and on 73 minutes, Steve Watson gets a goal. 78 minutes, Les Ferdinand makes it 2. And that's how it stays. 2-1 to Newcastle over Middlesbrough. And 30,000 in Ayson Park for that game. We're now away to West Ham. Good side. But if we're going to do anything in this league, we should be thinking about beating these people. And 24,000 in Upton Park, and Keegan sends an unchanged side against them. Good, tidy game. Only changes to the team on substitute becomes Paul Kitson. And West Ham, well, Harry Redknapp's the manager. Steve Potts, Slaven Bilic, Julian Dix, Keith Rowland, Ian Bishop, Danny Williamson, Michael Hughes, Ian Dowie, and Tony Cotty. Quite a nice side, but giving us a hard time. Danny Wilkinson on 7 minutes makes it 1-0. Stays like that till nearly the end because we've given it a real go. Then suddenly Tony Cotty, a dangerous little forward, nips in at the near post and scores with a header to make it 2-0 to West Ham. Still, although defeated, not knocking us off our perch at the top of the league. We're away to Manchester City. As I've said before, always good games against Manchester City. This is no exception. 16 minutes, City are 1 up. 44, thanks to Philip Albert, we're 1-1. 62, Niall Quinn. And then 77, Uwe Osler makes it 3. Philip Albert scores on 81, and then a certain Tino Asprilla scores the equaliser on 81, and we get a nice 3-3 draw at Manchester City, which is enough to keep her at the top of the league. And we're home then to the other Manchester United, and is they our biggest danger? We need to peg them back. Well, we couldn't. It was 38,000 in the game, and it's all going well. It really should be our game, but just can't put the ball in the net. And lo and behold, a certain Eric Cantona pops up on 51 minutes and scores. Well, a good goal, a goal poacher's goal. It wasn't a big drive or a big dribble. He just happened to be there at the right time and made it 1-0 for Manchester United in 51 minutes. And that's how it stayed till the end. So bit of a setback, but we've got a bit of a lead. So we're still at number one. And return game with West Ham next at St James's Park. 38,000 at the game. Harry Redknapp still the manager. Les Seeley, a goalkeeper with Northeast connections. Slaven Bilic, Julian Dix, Keith Rowland, Ian Bishop, Danny Williamson, Michael Hughes, the Ian Dowie, of course, and Demetrescu, the Romanian international. A good game, but one which is Newcastle from the start. 21 minutes, Philip Albert scores. We go 1-0 at half time. 55, Tony Asprilla and scores, and then 65, Les Ferdinand scores, and we beat West Ham handsomely with a 3-0 victory that we never looked like losing, and sits us nicely at number one in the Premiership. So next game is away to Arsenal, to Highbury, and tough game, but a one we should thinking of winning if we're going to win this league. But then who should give with a run around but none other than a man called Ian Wright. He really was on form in this match, and he lays the ball on for Scott Marshall, a young debutant for Arsenal, and on 17 minutes he makes it 2, and stays like that at half time. Newcastle give it a go second half, but can't hit the bar, hit the post, both posts, but couldn't stick the ball in the back of the onion bag. So we come with a 2-0 loss, which is disappointing. But it sadly though is the end of a sequence of runs that we could have done without, because we're now actually, after that game and the other results in that weekend, we find ourselves not top anymore, but second. So we're home at against Liverpool. We're away to Liverpool. That's right, and another tough game, but a one we must win if we're going to be doing what we want to do. Robbie Fowler 2 minutes, Ferdinand 9 minutes, Ginola 13, Fowler 54, Asprilla 56, and then Collymore 67 and 90. And this is the game that some people describe as the best game they've ever seen. The 4-3 with Collymore ending it. Brilliant game, and will be remembered by people for a long, long time. However, sadly, we came out on the losing side, which stuck us firmly into second place. The pundits would say that Keegan threw it away because he's kept attacking, but others would say, well, what a brilliant match it was. Sometimes teams close up shop in the hope of getting a result, and it backfires. They still end up conceding, and they've been thoroughly miserable in doing it. Where that was entertaining, to put it mildly, is the best thing to say. And that's how it will be remembered by lots of people, I think, and some good goals and some good football, and two very, very attacking sides who were up for the game, no doubt about it. So we come home to QPR, try to get back on a winning streak. We beat them there, should beat them here is the thought, but nothing. First half 0-0, everything but score. And then after half time, 53 minutes, Ian Holloway for QPR makes it 1-0 for them. And people think, oh, goodness, we're going to lose this one as well. Well, we didn't. Peter Beardsley then took over and on 77 minutes scored his first goal, and on 81 minutes his second. And we beat the QPR 2-1. 37,500 at the game, and an enjoyable game with Ray Wilkins as their player manager, and he actually played in this team in this game. So 2-1 win against QPR. Fixes were nicely in second place, but it's first place where we want to be. So we go to Blackburn Rovers away from home. We want, if we can, another victory. We've got the unchanged side out to give it a go, but Blackburn, with their team of all-stars, Flowers and Colin Henry, Flitcroft, Ripley, Sherwood, Wilcox Newell, and Alan Shearer. And one player on our side who's just changed sides, and that's David Batty, who now plays for us instead of them. 31,000 at Ewood Park. Excellent game, good football. And it's going well. It looks like David Batty on 76 minutes has given Newcastle a victory, but then Graham Fenton, a northeast lad from who not until recently managed Blythe and one of the other two northern teams, and Graham Fenton on 86 minutes made it 1-1. Then with the last kick of the game, the same Graham Fenton makes it 2-1 to Blackburn Rovers, and it's a disappointing loss because we really did think we could win that one. So we now come back to Aston Villa at home, and if we're actually going to try and snatch this league back, having given up a 12-point lead, which is why at the beginning I said disappointing for those fans that have been around a while. It was our league until certain things happened that spooked us out of it. That certain thing was Alec Ferguson winding up our manager, in my opinion, anyway. Aston Villa came. Brian Little, their manager. Brian Little at North East now is their manager. Good side, and it's a good game, but nobody can hit the onion bag. First half looks like that's what's going to happen. Second half, until in 64 minutes, Les Ferdinand, a towering header from a corner, and 1-0 to Newcastle, and that's how it stayed till the end. A very, very good victory, and playing well against a good Villa side. And it was an entertaining game, even though it was just 1-0. It was some good football played. Then we played Southampton at home. Same side goes out from Newcastle with Shaka Hislop back in because Pavel's injured. And Keegan gives Robbie Elliott a run out at left back because John Beresford's injured. Southampton team, well, Dave Besant in goal for them. Barry Venison in the side. Jim Magilton, Bat Letitia, Neil Shipperley, all dangerous players for us. 37,000 in the ground at St James's. And it looks like it's going well for us. 10 minutes, Rob Lee hits in a free kick, and it's 1-0. But after that, they could have played 2 games and they would never have scored another goal. It was entertaining enough to watch, but nobody with the wit to put it in the net. The big worry for the Gallagher corner, I remember, was that Letitia would get on the ball and turn him upside down, which he did quite regularly, but he didn't. It ended up 1-0 to us, and that was great. Fixers was firmly in second place. Away to Leeds next. The 39,000 in Elland Road. Leeds side. Howard Wilkinson, the manager this time. Beanie, Kelly, Beasley, Radaby, Weatherall, Gary Speed, Mark Ford, Gary McAllister, Nigel Worthington, Andy Gray. I love this. Andrew David Gray, Brian Dean. I don't know what his posh names are. He's not so posh now. He's just a gobshite, but never mind. That's my opinion. Nobody else's. Leeds, tough to beat, given a tough game. But in the first half, one of the best games Keith Gillespie played for Newcastle, in my opinion. I took the left side of Leeds apart that day, and on 17 minutes scored the only goal of the game to give a 1-0 victory, which was amazing because nobody expected we to win at all. But we didn't just win. It was thanks to Gillespie's performance that we never looked like losing that game. And that's how it ended, 1-0 victory. Next, we're away to Forest. We still have faint hopes of the league, but we've got to win everything now because Manchester United are streaking ahead, having passed. 32 minutes, Peter Beardsley makes it 1-0 to Newcastle. And then Ian Warren, who I keep talking about when we play Forest, yes, he bangs in the equaliser in 75 minutes. And when I say bang, with him, either foot, he had a cannonball shot. And he used to save them up for us, I'm sure. Well, he did it again in 1-1. 29,000 in the City ground. Frank Clark, the manager now at Nottingham Forest. Stuart Pearce in the back line. Colin Cooper, Chris Bart Williams, Scott Gemmell, come from Derby. Steve Stone, Ian Warren, Jason Lee, and Brian Howe. A 1-1 draw, a good 1-1 draw, though, an entertaining game, and a one which, we would have liked to have won because of the league position. But the fact is, it still was a decent game and a decent point. And the last game of the season is against Tottenham Hotspur. And it's a good, entertaining game, 37,000 in the ground. But 57 minutes, Dizelle scores for Tottenham. 71 minutes equaliser by Les Ferdinand. But by now, it's, the league's gone. It's well and truly in Manchester United's hands by 4 points. And we're nicely placed in second, well ahead of Liverpool, who were third. Great entertaining game. Jerry Francis there, our Tottenham manager, and Ruel Fox is in their side, and Teddy Sheringham. Colin Calderwood rather at fullback for them. So that's in the last game of the season, 1-1, and we come back to another friendly to finish the season off with against Forest. and it's a testimonial for none other than Stuart Pearce. And what a testimonial! 6-5, 6-5. The entertainers lost to Forest, but what a game it must have been to see with Keegan himself going on and playing and scoring twice, and Stuart Pearson's Nigel Clough coming back and playing, and all sorts of other things happening. And Crossley, who was the goalkeeper for so many years, ended up playing centre forward, determined to score a goal, and he did. 79 minutes, Mark Crossley. A very, very entertaining testimonial for Stuart Pearce. Well-earned testimonial for Stuart Pearce. So, that's the football over. Second place, and so disappointing when we were actually 14 points clear of Manchester at one stage. And that fateful night when we all heard Kevin Keegan utter those words, "I love it, I love it, I'd love it." Well, sadly, that bit of psychological nonsense was enough to put our team off its stroke and allow Manchester to slide in. But a brilliant football season. If you love your football, you would have loved that season, because we played some lovely stuff, scored some fantastic goals. And Les Ferdinand, top scorer with 29. And the other thing about that season is that we had the red and blue hoops shirts as well, waist strip, and I personally like that strip. And so, as I say, an entertaining season, and a one which ended up with tears for us, but still a great season. Still a great season.
Brilliant stuff, George. As always, thanks for your time, thanks for your research, and we look forward to getting you back on for the next episode of Those Were the Days.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Good to see you all. Thanks, Steve.
Take care, mate, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah.
A big thanks to all our sponsors: Skips and Bins, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, website skipsandbins.com, easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's sauces. They are handmade in Cumbria. If you want to order some of these sauces, call 01768 210 102 or go to the website mrvickys.co.uk. Thanks again to United Group Travel. They are a UK coach holiday firm and they are based in Morpeth with pickups throughout the northeast. No strangers on our tours, just people you haven't met yet. They're on Facebook. They've also got a website, unitedgrouptravel.com, or give them a call, 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174 or 07957 141 654. Big thanks to Darren Baldwin Funerals. They're an independent funeral director based in Gateshead. You can find them at their website, darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk, or give them a call, 0191 478 2730, or email Darren at darrenbaldwinfunerals.co.uk. Big thanks to Neil and the lads at Media Arts for all the help with the video side of things. And a big thank you to New Workwear. You can find them at newworkwear.com. If you want to help the channel, then please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button underneath today's video. Hit the thumb up, which helps you like the video, and please click share and share it to your other social media. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast providers. If you want to help the channel, you could take out a one-off membership. You get a cup, a pen, a membership card, and a scarf. It's a £25 one-off fee, and you can go to nufcmatters.com and click membership, or put your smartphone over this QR code and it will take you straight there. We also help the food bank on this channel. If you want to help the food bank virtually from wherever you are in the world, click on nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and it takes you to the matchday bucket and you can make a donation no matter how big or small.
I'm also involved in the Northeast Footy Breakfast Show. You can find us on the tooneuk.com. I do Monday to Friday with Ted, the Sunderland fan, and Rye, the Borough fan, and Radio Dad Dave. Lots of fun, 7 till 9 every morning. Give us a listen. You'll not regret it. We also help support people in the area who are putting events on. An evening with Nobby Solano takes place on the 19th of January at the Tyneside Irish Club. And an evening with Peter Beardsley takes place at the Tyneside Irish Centre the week before, on January the 12th. Tickets for both events are available on Voucher and would make fantastic Christmas presents for anyone of a black and white persuasion.